Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of Bad Beast Barbecue. First, let me say I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Remember all those who have given their lives for the freedom of our country and sacrifices made by their families. Okay, so I know everybody look at Memorial Day sometimes just as another holiday or a 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend, but it definitely has some meaning. So for all those veterans and military folks who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country, we salute you and we say prayers for their families. Okay. So today it is supposed to be raining off and on. And so we're going to be cooking on the London Sunshine. I didn't want to plug anything up because I didn't want to be fighting with wrapping up cords and stuff. And we're going to be cooking a 3.5 pound brisket flat. Now I've cooked the brisket flat on most of my other smokers, the Ace Smoke, the Weber, the Rectech, but I haven't cooked one yet. I don't think so on the London Sunshine. So we got the London Sunshine, as you saw from the B-roll at the beginning of the video. We filled it up with Royal Oak lump charcoal. Now those lumps weren't very big. That bag came with kind of crushed, so the pieces are a little small. So I decided to use them in the London Sunshine. The wood that you saw that we put in there was actually a used piece of wild cherry wood plank that we had cooked some salmon on, and then once the salmon was done, I washed off the plank and saved them. And so we got wild cherry wood in here as our smoking wood. Okay. We're going to be kind of going old school today. I got the Maverick out and one of my first ready check monitors for the smoker. So we're going to be checking the temperature at grill grate. I'm waiting for this to get up to about, between 225 and 275 degrees before we throw the, see, the ready check is already beeping again because of low meat temperatures. Okay. I don't even have it plugged in yet, but we're going to be cooking a 3.5 pound brisket flat, and we're going to be seasoning it with Buc-ee's brisket rub. So for those of you who've done some traveling around the South and around states through Texas and what have you, you know that Buc-ee's is one of the biggest roadside gas stations there is, and they sell barbecue sandwiches. And every time you're in there and they got new brisket coming out, they holler new brisket on the board, or fresh brisket on the board, mind you. So we bought some of their rub on our last visit to Buc-ee's, and so we're going to taste it and we're going to see exactly how it turns out. Okay, so hey, that's enough talk. Let's go ahead and get that brisket prepped up, and then wait for this London Sunshine to get up to temp and get it in the smoke. Hey, don't go nowhere. All right, guys, so here's our 3.5 pound brisket flat, and didn't have very much silver skin on it from the butcher. It did have a thick fat cap down here, and I didn't want to take it all off because this is a brisket flat, so they tend to dry out a little bit when you're cooking. So I left this fat on at the bottom, hoping that it's going to help retain some moisture. We did cut down this end down here because the fat was really, really thick and hard. All right, so we are going to go old school with this one here, and we are going to use mustard as the binder. And you can use whatever you want as a binder. The mustard won't add any additional flavor or take away any flavor from your brisket or from your meat. It's just there to hold your seasoning onto your meat better. Okay. And here is the Buc-ee's Texas Roundup brisket rub. Okay. So anxious to see how this tastes. Let's go ahead and hit it up. I like the way it looks already because it has some really big pieces of pepper in it. And, one of the best ways to cook a brisket is just with straight salt and pepper. But this one here looks like it's got a lot of garlic in it. And I'll have to put the ingredients of the rub up here on the screen so you guys can see what's in here. I haven't really looked at it close yet, so we'll look at it close together. Once I get this seasoned up, rubbed down, we're gonna let it sit for a little while. I like the color of it already, man. That yellow. I have to figure out what that is. Could be garlic, could be onion powder. But we're gonna hit this really heavy because I do want to form a good bark, and I want to be able to taste this. All right. All right, there we go. So we're gonna let this sit here for a little bit and get happy while the London Sunshine comes up to temp. All right, guys, so we got our brisket flat on the London Sunshine. So I'm hoping it don't rain today, but we do have some rain coming in, supposedly some storms coming in the next couple of hours. So I have the London Sunshine kind of pushed underneath my canopy tent on the patio to keep some of the water off of it. But it'd be interesting to see how well the London Sunshine maintains temperatures when the winds start picking up and when the rain start getting a little heavy. So hopefully we'll be done cooking by then. I mean, it's a 3.5 pound brisket flat. So maybe 6 to 7 hours, maybe. Once it gets to 160 degrees internal, we will be wrapping it. And I think I'm gonna wrap in butcher paper today. And then we're gonna take it up to a temperature of 205 and let it rest for a couple hours before we slice into it, okay? So, hey, hang around, don't go nowhere, and we'll see how this thing turns out. All right, guys. It's probably hard for you to hear me because the wind is kicking up and I don't have a muffle over the microphone here, so hopefully it's not too much wind noise, but it is blowing pretty bad. So that storm I mentioned is about to come in. So we've had our brisket flat on now for a little over 2 hours, and she's already at 156 degrees internal temperature at 273 degrees for the smoker. So hopefully the rain will hold off for long enough for us to wrap it and get it back on there, and then we can let it roll out till 205. So cross your fingers. All right, guys, so it is raining and our brisket flat has hit 160 degrees internal. There it is. Man, it looks fantastic, smells fantastic. So it is raining, but it's not a torrential downpour. It's just kind of sprinkling right now. So we're gonna wrap this up. And I think I'm gonna wrap it twice. That's my little meat probe beeping, so don't worry about that. It'll come this way. All right, let's go ahead and get it back on the smoker. So we're gonna get this back on the smoker here. We're gonna get our meat probe in here. All right, and we're gonna close it up and we'll see if we can wait for that magic 205. I'm gonna open these up a little bit, see if I can get my temperature back up, and we'll see what we get. So don't go nowhere. All right, guys, our internal temperature of our brisket flat has reached 205 degrees. We'll go ahead and take it off the smoker and put it in a cooler to rest for a couple hours before we slice it. All right, so here's our Coleman cooler. I normally put a old towel, one of our rags, in it. And we'll take our brisket like this. I'll wrap it up and cover it up. And we'll see what we got in 2 hours, so hey, don't go nowhere. All right, guys, so it's been 2 hours that our brisket has been in the cooler, wrapped up in the towel. So we're about to go ahead and take it out, slice it up, and get a taste test. It's nice and soft. Oh, just like they say at Buc-ee's, fresh brisket on the board. There we go. All right. So I did cut a corner off because the grain of the meat kind of ran like this. So we'll know which way to cut the brisket. I'll go ahead and slice into this. Got my Dow Strong knife here. That's the only thing about doing a brisket flat is that you're not going to get all that juice flowing like you would if you had the entire brisket. Brisket flat is much leaner. All right, there we go. All right, guys, so let's have a bite of this. Here's our, see how, well, it's got some tug to it. Let's see what we got. It smells fantastic. All right. Oh yeah, I like that rub. It's got a little kick to it too, like it's got like the black pepper in it. They got a lot of it in there, so it's giving you a little bit of kick. It's got a lot of garlic flavor and onion flavor. It tastes really good. I think, once again, I think it could have used a little bit of salt, but maybe they didn't want to put too much salt in it. But the rub is good. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it about an 8. I think it could use a little bit more salt in the rub. Have another taste. The brisket itself, the brisket flat, it's not as juicy as I would have liked it. It's a little dry in some areas, but the fat at the bottom really rendered well, so you can actually eat the fat that's at the bottom of the brisket flat, okay? Maybe if we had, instead of wrapping it in paper, putting the brisket flat inside of a small aluminum disposable pan, pouring some beef broth or liquid inside the pan, and then covered it with foil and let it go to 205, then it probably would have had a little bit more moisture into it because that liquid would have been able to be absorbed into the brisket while it was on its way to 205, okay? But all in all, good brisket. Definitely going to get eaten, okay? And the London Sunshine did a fantastic job, okay? We still have our discount code for the London Sunshine. Folks have been taking advantage of it and getting a percentage off of their purchase. I'll put it down here at the bottom of the screen here. So if you guys decide you want to purchase a London Sunshine, you definitely take advantage of that discount code, okay? And that's about it. So, hey, once again, I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And like we always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's fire, then damn it, there just might be a barbecue there. Or some fresh brisket on the board. Hey, as always, hey, we'll see you guys around the smoker.